Introduction to HTML. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Patrick, and this video we are going to look at HTML from beginners level to advanced level. This video is sponsored by Mr. Gonzaga, so big up Mr. Gonzaga. Thank you for your support. We really appreciate, so you encourage us to make more videos just like this. So you can also support us by subscribing or liking this video such that we can make more videos about computing. In today's video, we are going to understand exactly what HTML is, and we are going to know more about HTML. After this video, we shall see that we can build web pages, and we shall build real life web pages whereby if you subscribe to my channel, you are going to be able to build your own web project. Let's get started. First of all, let's first understand HTML. Before getting into HTML in details, let's first see by the end of this lesson what you are going to be able to do. Well, so by the end of this lesson, you are going to understand what HTML is, how it works, and you are going to be able to create a basic HTML web page. What is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is most widely used to write web pages. Hypertext refers to the way in which web pages or HTML documents are linked together. Thus, the link on web page is called hypertext. I think you have ever visited a website, let us say Facebook or any website, whereby you click on one word and it takes you to another page. That word is what we call the hypertext. The link that joins those pages is what we call the hypertext. Sometimes we call them hyperlinks. HTML is a markup language, which means that HTML tells a web browser how to structure and display content. So whatever you see on a web page, it is HTML that tells it to structure it. For example, we are going to see buttons. We are going to see inputs. Those inputs and buttons and everything you see, the text, are all put by HTML. That's why we call it a markup language. Well, let's now get started and see how to set up our computer so that we can start writing HTML codes. Now let me get back from PowerPoint, and then I show you how we are going to use our computer to start writing our HTML web pages. Well, so now I'm going to use my desktop here. I'm going to put a folder that we are going to use. Let me right click here. I point at new and I create a folder. I'm going to name it HTML tutorial. So inside this folder, we are going to write our HTML codes. And please, I ask you, or I suggest that you download the IDE that is suitable for this. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. This is the environment from which we are going to write our codes. So IDE, in this case, we are going to use Notepad++. You can also use Notepad, the inbuilt HTML, the inbuilt Windows program that you can use to write these codes, but I suggest for easy readability, and as we shall see, please download Notepad++. So check in this video's description to get Notepad++. Let's get started. Now I'm going to open my folder and I'm going to put my HTML file here. Well, so I'm going to right click, I point at new, then I use text document. So if you can see, I can see new text document.txt. This is very important. Now, if you have got Notepad++, you need to do this. Now, if you don't have, please check in this video's description. You'll get a link and download Notepad++ so that things can be easy. Now, we are going to name this first page anything. For example, we are going to create a web page or more than one web pages. This text we are going to write here, or the file we have created, is a web page. So remember, it is not a website until when it is more than one web page. So it becomes a website when there are two web pages or more. So a website is the collection of linked web pages. So let's create our first web page. Then we shall see how to link it with another so that it becomes a website. So let's call it home. Now I'm going to change that .txt, the file name extension, 2.html. So in your computer, if you cannot see that .txt part, so it is very important to activate it or to make your folder show it. So you are going to go to view here, then you check this file name extension checkbox and it becomes ticked. When it is not checked, you will not see the file name extension. And even if you put home.html, when you have not directly edited the file name extension, it will remain a text document. But you go to view and then file name extension, you make sure that it is checked so that you can see and edit the file name extension. Now that you've created your first web page, this is our first web page, and now you can open it and see it in the browser. So let's get into it and we write code. So let me first double click on it to open my web page. If I open my web page, I used Firefox to get it. You can see it is blank, there is nothing. But now let's go there and we write our codes. So I'm going to click on the my folder and I'm going to open it and write codes. So I'm going to right click on it and I click on edit with Notepad++. For those who have installed Notepad++, this option will be there. But if you have not installed Notepad++, you will not get this option. So make sure you check in this video's description and get Notepad++. Now let me click on edit with Notepad++ so that I can start editing my project. So when I click on edit with Notepad++, it is opening and I'm going to use this IDE, incredible IDE, to write my codes. Well, there are so many codes I was working upon. Let me first cross them all and I remain with only one code that I want to use. So here we go. So from here we are going to write our HTML codes, and now let's pay attention and see how HTML works. First of all, I'm going to talk about what we call HTML tag. So you are going to understand what HTML tag means, and after learning HTML tag, you will be able to start writing your codes. Well, let's get started. What is HTML tag? In HTML, a tag is a code element that specifies how a piece of content should be structured or displayed in a web browser. So the tags are a fundamental part of HTML and are used to define the start and the end of element. Let's get an example. In HTML, a tag is written using less and greater than symbols. So if I want to write a tag, I write it inside the less and greater than symbol. That's how we write a tag. And after writing a tag, anything we put in front of it is affected by this tag. For example, if this tag is supposed to tell this text to be red in color, it means if we write our tag here, anything we put in front of it will become red. So I don't mean that this tag will tell this text to become red, just I'm showing you what a tag does. So it will, if it at all, it tells this text to be big in size. So if we write our tag, whatever we want this tag to affect, we must put it in front of that tag. So after writing what we want it to affect, we need to stop it. We may not want the tag to affect the whole web page, so we may need to stop it at a certain point so that it does not affect the whole web page. So doing so, we shall close it. So this is how we close tag. So I write less than / tag. So therefore, a tag is written, it is open like this and closed like this. Let's get into real life and we'll write our first tag. In this case, we are going to use a paragraph tag. Whenever we want to write a paragraph in HTML, we are going to use a paragraph tag. Remember, these tags are not, you don't just think about them, like you don't have to guess them. They are pre-designed, they are standard. So you will keep on learning them as we proceed. So in today's video, let's first deal with paragraph tag. So what I'm going to write, I'm going to write P which is paragraph tag. So you've got your first tag, and this is called paragraph tag. So now what we are going to put in front of P, that's what we are going to put in our paragraph. So let's write, this is our first paragraph. Well, so if you can see that text, it is our first paragraph we have designed using HTML. Now we need to stop that tag. So do you know how we stop? So I will say less than stroke P, then where, that is our first tag. We have seen the paragraph tag. So the whole line from paragraph tag and where it ends is called HTML element. So this is the element, the whole line including the text, but the tag is the paragraph. Well, so now let's see. I'm going to save, Ctrl S, just to see the results. Let me go into my browser, I refresh. So this is our first paragraph. Congratulations, you have written your first paragraph in HTML. Well, so now let's see, how should HTML be formatted? So that you've learned about tags. Now let's see the basic important parts of HTML. Before you start writing these tags, what you should put in consideration. This is what we should put in consideration. This is what we should start with in order to write good codes. First of all, remember this HTML or these codes are interpreted by our browser. In this case, I have used Firefox to interpret my HTML codes. So we need to tell the browser, this browser, we need to tell it that we are dealing with the HTML. Remember, browser can interpret many languages like CSS, we shall see that, JavaScript, we shall see that, but we need to inform it that we are dealing with HTML. So now let's go there and see how we inform the browser about this. It is a good practice before you start developing, before you start writing your codes. You should inform the browser because it's the one to interpret your codes. Now let's see how to inform it. First of all, we are going to first tell it the type of document we are dealing with, that we are dealing with the HTML. So I'm going to type less than, exclamation, doc type, then HTML. So this is very important part of our HTML codes. Whenever we want to start writing our HTML, we are informing the browser that what we are writing is going to be HTML. The document type is HTML. If I save and I refresh in my browser, I will see nothing. Nothing will be shown on the screen, but my browser has understood that the codes I'm going to put below here are for HTML. Remember, this is not compulsory. Even if you don't put it there, it can be, the browser can automatically interpret HTML codes, but it is good practice to put it there. Remember, if you don't put it there, you are writing your codes in what we call quacks mode. So you are writing your codes in quacks mode. What is quacks mode? When we go into dictionary and we check the meaning of this word quacks mode, let me use real life examples. Quacks mode, it refers to unusual traits or habits or behaviors that make someone or something distinctive. For example, someone can be funny, those habits can make someone funny or annoying. So for example, someone might have a habit of always speaking something. For example, when someone is saying something, he can say, for example, like you get it. Someone may have that habit of repeating words. That's what we call quacks. Now, in this context, we don't mean that in the context of writing codes. Quacks means, if we look at the first browsers, this is what quacks means. Quacks, it is the way these first browsers behave, the behaviors of these first browsers. Now, we are having first browsers like those that were developed in 1990s and early 2000s, and these browsers, they had no standard way of displaying the content on the page. For example, as we have written, this is our first paragraph. Those browsers just displayed without organizing their way of displaying these things. So now today's browsers, the modern browsers, try to try to copy the way those browsers worked. So, and if we don't tell them exactly that we are dealing with document type HTML, they will try to mimic, they will try to display content just like the first browsers, and you may find yourself that a certain content is not displayed where you want it exactly to be, because the browser is mimicking, is in Quacks mode. It is copying the behaviors of those first browsers. Those first browsers, we had the Netscape, we had the Internet Explorer. So those browsers did not have exact ways of displaying things. You write your code and they could display it in any way they want. So if you write your codes in Quacks mode, that is a modern browser can also do that, can display your content in a way. So if you don't tell it that you are using HTML. So but if you want to avoid Quacks mode, you need to declare, you need to tell it that you are using HTML in this case. So it is a good practice wherever we are writing HTML codes to put document type as HTML so that our browser can understand. Well, after doing that, so we have told it that we are dealing with HTML, then we are going to tell it that now we have started writing our HTML codes. How shall we tell it? So we shall tell it that whatever we are going to put below here is HTML, so I will use that tag. Remember, the document type HTML, the other tag I have opened before, it is not closable. We don't close it, so we leave it just like that. But this HTML tag, after writing my codes, so I would say code is here. So I'm going to put my codes here, and then after I will close that HTML tag. So now if you look at my code, the first part of it, let's analyze everything. The first part of this one is telling the browser that the document we are dealing with is a HTML document, so that we don't work in Quacks mode. Quacks mode, I have explained it. Now the second part is telling our browser that now we have started writing our codes. So browser will interpret everything we put below this code as HTML. Then our codes will come here, and then after we need to close the HTML. Well, thank you so much. That's how we are going to write our codes. Now let's get started to write our codes. Next, as we start writing our codes in this place, that's where we are going to put our codes. It is very essential to divide our codes into two parts. Our code or our web page should be divided into two parts. Actually, not even two, but three parts. What are these parts? First of all, we need to divide our web page into head, body, and foot. We shall call the head, sometimes we call it header, then the body, and the footer, as we say foot. But sometimes we are not interested in the footer so much, but we shall see as we proceed that we shall need it at a given time. But in this tutorial, we are going to focus on head and body. So any web page should be divided into those three parts: the head, the body, and the foot. So today we are going to focus on head and body. So before we start writing our codes, we need to tell the browser that now we are writing for the head. So I'll open head tag. Yes, so now everything we put in head tag, I should close it. Everything we put here in the head tag, our browser will interpret it as head. So what is worthy to be put in head tag? In head tag, we need to tell the title of our web page. From here, we write the title of our web page. Next, we can put the style of our web page, how we want to style it. But in this case, we are not interested in styling. we shall see that. But now let's just put the title. So in the head part, now this is what we are doing. So this head part is going to contain the title of our page, and then after we are going to put the body part of our website down here, and in the body part we shall put what we want our web page to have as body. Now, well, let's get started and put something in the title. So let's say title, I'm going to put my first web page, my first web page. Well, so now if you can look at my codes, I have opened the title tag and I have closed it. So remember I told you before about tags. So that's the title tag, and now it's closed. If you look at my head tag, it is closed. If you look at my HTML tag, it is closed. So it's a good practice to always close these tags, except for some tags we are going to see that they are not closed in the usual way. Just for example, we have seen the doc type HTML. That one is not closed in the usual way, so we leave it just like that, because everything below it is in our HTML document type. Now let's refresh and see what is in our browser. Now if I refresh, I can see nothing on screen. There is nothing. This is just a dot that remained from the pen. Let me remove it. There is nothing. Where is this title? Because we have told it that in the head put a title, my first web page, but we don't see the title on our browser. Now look at here. Look at here. Sorry, let me show you exactly what I mean. Look at here. You see our title? That is where our title goes. So whatever I put in the title must go up here in the browser. So that's where the title goes. So whatever you want to put as your title, it will be displayed up there. But anything we write, let's find out. Is it true that anything we write in the title, or rather in the head section, goes up here? Let's find out. What if I come in head section and I put a paragraph? Remember a paragraph tag? Do you remember how to write paragraph tag? Well, let's see. Paragraph. This is the head. So I close that paragraph. Let me save, Ctrl S. Now when we go back to browser and refresh, do we expect to see this statement? This is head up here, because we have understood that browser puts things in head, and one of the things we have seen is the title. The answer is no. We shall see it here. So title, it is telling browser what to put. It is this tag title. So anything we put in title, that's what will be displayed here, but everything else will lie in the body. So we could call this the body, but also we are seeing that we have included this paragraph tag in the head section, but it is being displayed in the body. So what we want to display up here is the title, but any other tag is directly displayed in the part of our body. Well, so now it is not good practice to put paragraphs in the head, so the head can only contain title and some more other things, as we shall see. But for today, let's focus on the title. Now let's go and see the body part of our website. So after writing for head, we are going to create body, and then we need to close it. So it's better practice, whenever you open a tag, you close it before using or before putting codes in it. So whatever we put here in the body, we are telling the browser that we are dealing with the body. So now we are going to write our first paragraph in the body. It is good practice to put everything we want our website to have, or our web page to have, in the body. So I'm going to say paragraph. Let me say paragraph. This is a body. Well, so now do you see that code is right? Is there anything wrong with it? Is there anything wrong with it? Yes, of course there is something wrong, because I have opened the paragraph tag which I have not closed. So this means I should close paragraph tag before I proceed. Good. So now let's close this paragraph tag. So if you have seen that, I think now you are following. Good. Now let's close the paragraph tag. Now Control S to save, and then let's go browser. In browser and do it. Refresh. Good. Now we've written in the body part of our page. Now let's see our code. This is another thing we should know. After writing all those codes, we should endeavor to save our work. So if you want to see the results in your browser, always save your work. Now this is the assignment I'm giving you. Please use what you have learned to write a basic HTML code. You give it a title, My First Web Page, and in the body you write that on this day I have learned the basic skeleton of a website. You put it in the body in a paragraph. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Patrick. Let's meet in the second part of HTML. So that has been a basic first part, and we meet in the second part. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe such that you don't miss out, because I'm going to be uploading series of these videos. Thank you so much.